Greetings. This is Brother Eli with another episode of Bible Truth Revealed. Today's teaching is entitled, Should Israelites Eat Chicken and Turkey? That is, should Israelites eat chicken and turkey? The Most High told our forefathers which animals are fit to be eaten and which ones we must not eat because they are abominable. While it is clear which land beasts and sea creatures we are allowed to eat, there is a lot of uncertainty among Israelites regarding which birds we can eat. This is because the Dietary Law, as found in Deuteronomy chapter 14 and Leviticus chapter 11, does not include a list of the birds that are fit to be eaten. In this teaching, I will carefully examine Deuteronomy chapter 14, verses 3 to 20, to identify the criteria that lets us know which birds are fit to be eaten. Afterwards, I will demonstrate whether birds such as chicken, turkey, ducks, and geese are good for food, or whether they are abominable. Deuteronomy chapter 14, verse 3. This is Deuteronomy chapter 14, verse 3, and I will be reading from the Brenton Septuagint translation. It says, Ye shall not eat any abominable thing. Again, ye shall not eat any abominable thing. The Dietary Law contains a list of things that Israelites are forbidden to eat. Nevertheless, the list does not mention every single thing. For this reason, if something is not explicitly stated, but it is found to be abominable, we must not eat it. In the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, the synonyms of abominable are disgusting, foul, gross, nasty, repulsive, revolting, and loathsome. So if we discover that an animal is disgusting, foul, gross, nasty, repulsive, revolting, or loathsome, we must not eat it. Proverbs chapter 26, verse 11. Proverbs chapter 26, verse 11 says, As when a dog goes to his own vomit and becomes abominable, so is a fool who returns in his wickedness to his own sin. Dogs are abominable creatures that eat vomit and poop. In the Encyclopedia Britannica, under the heading, Why do dogs eat poop? It says this. Though poop is certainly not a staple food for any human, it may come as no surprise that poop is a common part of many a dog's diet. Poop is a common part of many a dog's diet. Dogs are abominable, and we must not eat abominable things. For more details about the abominable nature of dogs, please listen to my teaching entitled, Should Israelites Have Pets? That is, should Israelites have pets? Let's go back to Deuteronomy chapter 14, and I will read verses 4 to 11. Deuteronomy chapter 14, verses 4 to 11 reads thus. These are the beasts which ye shall eat, the calf of the herd, and lamb of the sheep, and kid of the goats, the stag and doe and pygog and wild goat and camelopard, every beast that divides the hoofs and makes claws of 2 divisions, and that chews the cud among beasts, these ye shall eat. So all the animals on the land that have split hooves and that chew the cud. You can tell they're chewing the cud because it looks like they're chewing gum. They're chewing, but they're not actually appearing to eat anything. They're chewing their cud. If a land beast has both of these qualities, it means that it is clean. It is good for us to eat. Verse 7. And these ye shall not eat of them that chew the cud, and of those that divide the hoofs, and make distinct claws, the camel, and the hare, and the rabbit, because they chew the cud, and do not divide the hoof. These are unclean to you. So the animal must do both. One is not enough, verse 8. And as for the swine, that's a pig, because he divides the hoof and makes claws of the hoof, yet he chews not the cud, he is unclean to you. Ye shall not eat of their flesh, ye shall not touch their dead bodies. The Most High divided the land beasts into 2 clear categories. Those that have split hooves and chew the cud are fit to be eaten. On the other hand, those beasts that do not meet both criteria must not be eaten. Verse 9. And these ye shall eat of all that are in the water. Ye shall eat all that have fins and scales. They must have both fins and scales. Having one but not the other is not enough. Examples of fish that have both fins and scales are tuna, sardines, sea bass, salmon, kingfish, and trout, but there are many more. Verse 10. And all that have not fins and scales ye shall not eat. These are unclean to you. Examples of unclean sea creatures are catfish, prawns, shrimps, lobsters, mussels, and oysters. Again, there are more, but we can easily determine which things are clean and unclean of the sea creatures because we have been given a very clear criteria. Verse 11. Ye shall eat every clean bird. Rather than giving very clear criteria for the birds that can be eaten, the Most High simply stated that we shall eat every clean bird. This means that we need to search the Holy Scriptures to identify the birds that are explicitly revealed to be clean, that is, fit to be eaten. We can find the first one in Exodus chapter 16, verses 11 to 13. Exodus chapter 16, verses 11 to 13 says this. And the Most High spoke to Moses, saying, I have heard the murmuring of the children of Israel. Speak to them, saying, Towards evening ye shall eat flesh, and in the morning ye shall be satisfied with bread, and ye shall know that I am the Almighty Creator. And it was evening, and quails came up and covered the camp. The Most High himself gave quails to the Israelites to eat. Therefore, we can rest assured that quail is one of the birds that we can eat. Leviticus chapter 1, verse 14. Leviticus chapter 1, verse 14 says, And if he bring his gift, a burnt offering to the Most High, of birds, then shall he bring his gift of doves or pigeons. Doves or pigeons. Here we see that the Most High accepts burnt offerings of doves or pigeons. Only clean animals can be sacrificed to the Most High. So this means that doves or pigeons are clean birds. They are fit to be eaten. Now let's learn a little bit more about the clean birds that we have identified so far. In the Encyclopedia Britannica, under the heading Quail, it says this: quail eat mainly seeds and berries, but also take leaves, roots, and some insects. Their flesh is considered a delicacy, as are their eggs. Their flesh is considered a delicacy, as are their eggs. It is easy to see why the Israelites enjoyed eating quails in the wilderness. Their flesh is considered a delicacy. Under the heading dove, it says, the names pigeon and dove are often used interchangeably. This means that these words are used for the same bird. These are essentially the same bird. When the dove or pigeon is in its natural habitat, it eats mainly berries, seeds, fruits, nuts, and vegetables. For this reason, its flesh is also a delicacy. On birdfact.com, there is an article entitled, "What do pigeons eat?" It says this: all the pigeons are naturally herbivores, which means they naturally eat plants. They have become adapted over the years to eat a wide and diverse range of foods and rely heavily on food discarded by humans, including bread, rice, and meat. Their natural diet includes berries, seeds, fruit, nuts, and vegetables. The pigeons that were sacrificed on the altar as burnt offerings were not the flying rats that are commonly seen in big cities such as New York and London. Flying rats were adapted by humans to do abominable things, such as eating every nasty piece of garbage that they find on the street. But that is not the nature of the dove or the pigeon. Wood pigeons, meaning pigeons that live in the countryside as opposed to the city, eat berries, seeds, fruits, nuts, and vegetables. The Most High accepted them as burnt offerings, and as their flesh is a delicacy, they are fit to be eaten by the holy people of the Most High. Now let's continue exploring the Dietary Law. Deuteronomy chapter 14, I will read verses 12 to 19. Deuteronomy chapter 14 verses 12 to 19 says, "And these of them ye shall not eat." So we're still talking about the birds. "The eagle, and the ossifrage, and the sea eagle, and the vulture, and the kite, and the like to it, and the sparrow, and the owl, and the sea mew, and the heron, and the swan, the swan, the swan." There are some people who want to eat birds like the swan. But the scripture says that the swan is unclean. And we are going to learn that birds that are like the swan are unclean. And the stork, and the cormorant, and the hawk, and its like, and the hoopoe, and the raven, and the pelican, and the diver, and the like to it, and the red bill, and the bat. All winged animals that creep are unclean to you. Ye shall not eat of them. Now let's go to some Bible commentaries to hear what they have to say about this passage that I've just read. Keel and Delitzsch Biblical Commentary on the Old Testament says this: of birds, 20 varieties are prohibited, including the bat, but without any common mark being given. Without any common mark being given, though they consist almost exclusively of birds which live upon flesh or carrion, and are most of them natives of Western Asia. Although no common mark is given for the unclean birds, we can be sure of three things. 1. Birds that eat carrion, which is dead, rotting flesh, are not to be eaten. Birds of prey are not to be eaten. And all abominable things, meaning disgusting, foul, gross, nasty, repulsive, revolting, loathsome creatures, are not to be eaten. When we use these criteria to test the birds that are to be eaten, they pass with flying colors. Quails and doves or pigeons are not birds of prey, and they do not eat abominable, disgusting, foul, gross, nasty, repulsive, revolting, loathsome things such as dead, rotting flesh. On the other hand, birds that are explicitly listed as unclean do not pass this simple test. Let's hear what these popular Bible commentaries have to say about why some of these birds are unfit to be eaten by the holy people of the Most High. Ellicott's commentary for English readers says this: the vulture is most loathsome in its habits and feeds upon the foulest carrion. Remember, that is dead, rotting flesh, for which reason it is put in the list of unclean birds. The word loathsome is one of the synonyms of abominable. The Most High commanded us not to eat any abominable thing, so it should not come as any surprise that we are forbidden to eat vultures. Regarding the stork, this is what the Eliot's commentary says: the stork feeds on fish, reptiles, and all kinds of offal and garbage, for which reason it is here placed in the list of unclean birds. Offal is another word for trash or rubbish. The stork is an abominable creature because it eats garbage. Any bird that eats garbage is not fit to be eaten by the holy people of the Most High. Jamieson Fausset Brown Bible Commentary says this about the hawk: the hawk was held preeminently sacred among the Egyptians, and this, besides its rapacious disposition and gross habits, might have been a strong reason for its prohibition as an article of food to the Israelites. The word gross is another synonym of abominable. Therefore, it should not surprise us that the hawk is off the menu with its gross habits. Deuteronomy chapter 14, verse 20. Deuteronomy chapter 14, verse 20 says, "Ye shall eat every clean bird." As we can see, with a bit of effort, we can identify the birds that are fit to be eaten and those that are abominable. Let's use the same criteria that we have already established to test a few birds that are commonly eaten today. I will focus on the pheasant, the turkey, the duck, and the chicken, but this test can be used with any bird that is not explicitly named in the Dietary Law. Number 1, the pheasant. In the New World Encyclopedia, under the heading Pheasant, it says this: "They are important to various food chains, consuming grains, berries, and other vegetation, and being consumed by foxes and other animals. In many countries, pheasant species are hunted as game and have been commercially raised for this purpose as well as food. As the pheasant mainly eats grains, berries, and other vegetation, its flesh is also a delicacy. This sounds a lot like the quail and the pigeon or dove. As such, the pheasant is certainly fit to be eaten. The partridge and the grouse are birds that are like the pheasant and are also fit to be eaten." Number 2, the turkey. First, I want to address the growing misconception that a turkey is a type of vulture. I will do so by showing the main difference between a turkey and a vulture. In the Encyclopedia Britannica, under the heading Vulture, quote 1 says this: "Vulture, any of 22 species of large carrion eating birds that live predominantly in the tropics and subtropics." We learned earlier that carrion is dead, rotting flesh. So the vulture is any of 22 species of large birds that eat dead, rotting flesh. Turkeys do not eat dead, rotting flesh, so turkeys are not vultures. Quote 2 says, "Most vultures have broad food habits, consuming carrion, garbage, and even excrement, but rarely do they descend upon live animals." Excrement is just another word for poop. Turkeys do not eat dead, rotting flesh, garbage, or poop because they are not vultures. The people who ignorantly claim that turkeys are vultures do so because there is a particular type of vulture that looks similar to a particular type of turkey. It is called a turkey vulture, but it is still a vulture and not a turkey. Under the heading Turkey Vulture, the Encyclopedia Britannica says, "The species subsists predominantly, which means mainly, on carrion, dead and putrefying flesh, and it occurs throughout the Americas, except northern Canada. Northerly and southernmost populations are migratory." So as we can see, the turkey vulture is as disgusting, foul, gross, nasty, repulsive, revolting, or loathsome as any other type of vulture because it eats dead, rotting flesh. This abominable creature has nothing to do with the turkey. Now let's learn about the wild turkey, which is a turkey in its natural habitat. On birdfact.com, there's an article entitled, "What Do Wild Turkeys Eat?" Quote 1 says this: "Turkeys are extremely adaptable in their diets, but they almost solely consume vegetable and plant matter. As we can see, based on its diet, the turkey is a world apart from the turkey vulture. Turkeys mainly eat plants, while vultures, including the turkey vulture, eat dead, rotting flesh, garbage, and even poop." Quote 2 says, "Wild turkeys feed on seasonal fruits ranging from juniper and hawthorn to wild grapes, cherries, and apples. Berries are some of their favored foods when available from low-lying shrubs and bushes. As a wild turkey mainly eats fruits and vegetables, its flesh is also a delicacy. Just like the clean birds that we examined earlier, the turkey is fit to be eaten." Having said that, factory farmed turkeys are pumped full of dangerous chemicals that are detrimental to our health. Therefore, as with any other clean meat, I recommend that you source your turkey very carefully. Local farms are usually a good source of wholesome meats. Number 3, duck. On birdsandwetlands.com, there's an article entitled, "Behind the Quacks, Why Do Ducks Smell?" Quote 1 says, "Ducks are versatile farm animals, providing meat and eggs, but they are known to be smelly due to their lack of hygiene." Ducks have a lack of hygiene. Ducks have a disgusting, foul, gross, nasty, repulsive, revolting, loathsome smell to repel us from eating them. This is a hint that they are not to be eaten. Quote number 2 says, "Ducks may develop the habit of eating their own feces." Eating their own feces. Ducks produce the most wet, slimy, disgusting poop that you can ever encounter. Then they eat it.
$900 an hour for quackers. And we don't even have an idea for them. I just like...
They love nothing more than sucking up their own poop. This is abominable. Quote number 3 says, "If the smell is coming from a cooked duck," in other words, if you smell the stink, the stench of a cooked duck, proper ventilation, such as using a kitchen exhaust fan, can help. So even when you cook the duck, it can make your house stink so badly that you have to open the windows or turn on the exhaust fan. Whether dead or alive, the duck stinks terribly. It is a disgusting, foul, gross, nasty, repulsive, revolting, loathsome creature that must not be eaten by the holy people of the Most High. The goose is another bird that is as disgusting, as abominable as the duck, and is also not fit to be eaten. This is to be expected because both the duck and the goose are very much like the swan, and the swan was listed among the unclean birds. And this is why there are many people who would tell you that the swan should not be in the list of unclean birds. They will tell you it's a mistranslation. Why? Because they realize that if they can't eat the swan, they also cannot eat the duck or the goose. But they want to eat the duck and the goose, so they have to tell you that the swan is a clean animal, and that when your Bible says that the swan is unclean, it's actually a mistranslation. If you are an Israelite that eats duck or geese, the time has come to repent. And finally, number 4, the chicken. On the homesteadinghippie.com, there is an article entitled, "Will Chickens Eat Their Own Poop?" Quote 1 says, "Chickens are pretty adventurous eaters." In other words, they would eat almost anything. You might even say they are a little indiscriminate. So that's another way of saying they would eat almost anything. Chickens eat all kinds of things, from bugs and grass to small mammals and even dirt. So it's not surprising that some people assert that chickens will also eat their own poop. Chickens will also eat their own poop. Yikes, that seems like a bit much. And it is hard to think of something more disgusting than that. It is hard to think of something more disgusting than eating your own poop. But could it be true? Do chickens really eat their own poop? Yes, chickens regularly eat their poop. Not sometimes, not once in a while, but regularly. It's a habit. It's their pastime. It's one of the chicken's most favorite thing to do. The chicken is an abominable creature because it eats its own poop. Quote 2 says, "Chicken poop is absolutely infested with bacteria, as you'd imagine, and can also transmit parasites." This is why many people get sick after eating chicken. For some people, it's very quick, and for others, it takes a while. But when you eat chicken, you're eating a whole bunch of bacteria. You're eating a whole bunch of parasites because the chicken regularly eats its own poop. Quote number 3 says, "These are just some of the risks chickens face when eating poop. Poop. It's risky for chickens to eat poop, but they do it anyway. So, while it may be natural for them to do so, it's not exactly safe. So it's natural for chicken to eat poop because they are abominable creatures. And that's what abominable creatures do. Dogs eat poop. Ducks eat poop. And chicken eat poop because they are abominable creatures. Deuteronomy chapter 14 verse 3 warned us, and I quote, "Ye shall not eat any abominable thing." The chicken is an abominable, disgusting, foul, gross, nasty, repulsive, revolting, or loathsome thing. It is not to be eaten by the righteous remnant of Israel. Just like we do not eat dogs, we must not eat chicken. Both dogs and chicken are abominable things that eat poop. They are not to be eaten by the holy people of the Most High. The question might be asked, what if the chicken is taken from its natural environment and forced to eat only grains? Does that then make it fit to be eaten? Ask yourself the question. If you take a pig from its natural environment and raise it as a vegetarian, does that make it fit to be eaten? The answer is obvious. The pig is an abominable creature that must never be eaten. In the same way, the chicken, by its very nature, is an abominable thing. We cannot take something that is abominable by nature and change it into something that is fit to be eaten. We must eat no abominable thing. On www.peta.org, there is an article entitled Top 10 Reasons Not to Eat Chickens. Under the heading, if you're eating chicken, you are eating poop. If you're eating chicken, you're eating poop. It says this. A study by Consumer Reports found that more than half the chicken breasts sampled were tainted with fecal contaminants such as E. coli. Fecal means poop. That means you are almost guaranteed to be swallowing actual poop. You are swallowing actual poop every time. Not sometimes, not once in a while, but you are swallowing actual poop every time you chomp down on a dead chicken. On animaljustice.ca, there's an article entitled, Not Just Red Meat, 5 Reasons Why Chicken Meat is a Health Risk Too. It says, chicken meat is one of the most common sources of food poisoning. Again, chicken meat is one of the most common sources of food poisoning. There's a reason one of the first rules of food safety is to keep raw chicken meat away from other foods. E. coli, Salmonella, Campylobacter, and Clostridium bacteria can all cause painful illnesses in humans, including diarrhea, stomach pain, nausea, vomiting, possibly urinary tract infections, and even death. Now, this might sound overly dramatic, but it's true, even death. I personally know someone who died as a result of eating chicken. It continues. These dangerous forms of bacteria are found in or on chicken carcasses and largely come from fecal matter. Fecal matter is poop. The chicken eats its own poop. It's covered with poop inside and outside. And this is one of the reasons why chicken meat is one of the most common sources of food poisoning. And when you eat chicken, you're eating poop. Any animal that eats poop is not fit to be eaten by the holy people of the Most High. In conclusion, the Most High did not list the clean birds in Leviticus chapter 11 or Deuteronomy chapter 14, but he gave us a simple way to determine which birds are fit to be eaten. Birds that eat dead, rotting flesh are not to be eaten. Birds of prey are not to be eaten, and abominable things such as ducks, geese, and chicken are not to be eaten. Eating an animal that eats poop is no better than eating poop yourself. So don't be surprised if your health declines from eating a whole lot of chicken. I pray that the righteous remnant of Israel would stop eating chicken and other abominable things that eat poop. And with that I say, Salam.